What's up guys, Noah Rail Fanning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before you watch this video, I suggest you click the first link in the description and watch that video if you have not watched that video before. It will explain the area in which I rail fan in the Short Line Railroad MSC so you understand the operations. In this video, we're going to be looking at C704, which is a BNSF coal train for Plant Daniel. Again, if you'd watched that video, you know what I was referring to. Then after that, we're going to look at MSC Train 50 with MSC 66 leading a train. MSC 66 was just recently rebuilt from a GP38-2 to a -3. Also just got a new horn on it, which is an RS5T. It's beautiful. But first, let's watch C704. We actually make a short chase of them today. Our next spot along the chase was just a few miles south of where we were in Movella, Mississippi, behind a church here in a little driveway that goes around the church. You can hear the aces and their weight and the loaded coal train creaking on the rails. Next spot was just about 1.5 miles south of where we just got them. Here we have a nice shot of the train coming down the hill, and I step into the frame as I'm getting a few shots from the DSLR. And last but not least on this chase, Hurley, Mississippi. We actually stopped at the Mississippi Export Maintenance of Way shops in Hurley where they work on maintenance of way equipment and locomotives. We're joined by a few other rail fans here, Austin, Rail South Productions, Zach, AL Rail Productions, and Ethan, Mississippi Trains. Alright, so about that MSC train. So first, I need to go over the MSC roster real quick, and MSC stands for Mississippi Export, just in case that hasn't been clear. So I'm going to go over their roster real quick so you can get an idea of how that works. So they have road numbers units 64 through 68, and then they have 4301, and they also have Lancaster and Chester unit 3820 on their property as well. I will get into that in just a minute, why they have that unit. So MSC 64 is a switch unit. I think it's a SW 1500. It hasn't been on the MSC property for about 2 years. It's been leased to a industry over in Mobile, Alabama, Kimberly-Clark. I don't know if we're getting that unit back or not. They may have sold it to them. It may just be a 5 or 10 year lease. I don't know. Excuse my phone there in case it is being distracting. Okay. Anyway, so MSC 65 and 66 were built for MSC in 1979 as GP38-2s. MSC 67 is a GP38-2 XUP unit. I don't know the exact date when MSC got it. I think it was around 2010 to 2012, maybe a little later. I don't think so though. And then MSC 68, they just got back in 2015, and it is a GP50 It's ex-Chicago Northwestern. It's built for Chicago Northwestern, and it's also been through UP, and I think it's been through 2 other leasing companies before MSE snagged that unit. Still has a gong bell on it. Pretty cool. Now, before I can talk about the LC unit, I need to explain something else about what MSE is doing. So they are doing a little rebuilding program with their GP38-2s, well, just 65 and 66 that we know of so far. They may be doing 4301, which is a switch unit. I didn't talk about that unit. Sorry, that's I think it's like an SW9 900, something like that. I don't remember. I don't know my switch unit as well as I should. Anyway, I think it's an SW9. It's an SW something. That's all that matters. Anyhow, they keep that down in Moss Point, Mississippi. Every time I get pictures of it, it's just sitting there at the office. They hardly use that thing as far as I know. Anyway, it looks awful. The paint's peeling on it. I mean, so MSE is they're rebuilding 65 and 66. They did 65 last year, and they just finished 66 about a month ago. And they're rebuilding them from 38-2s to 38-3s, GP38-2s to 38-3s. This is when MSE first bought 65. This is what it looked like right before it left for rebuild, and that's what it looks like after rebuild. Takes about 6 to 10 months to redo a unit. It only took about 6 months to do 65, but it took a good 10 months to do 66. So they just got 66 back. So some rail fans, they kind of care about the horns on units. They look at it as just another aspect to the rail fanning spectrum besides just models and paint schemes, and it's just something else cool to throw into it, and I think it's cool too. However, I have met rail fans that are just kind of like, well, whatever, I don't care. Anyway, so a lot of rail fans, they would know an RS5T, a Leslie RS5T is considered rare, and I would agree, because there's not that many of them, and I think they're very cool. So MSE 65 and 66 both came from the manufacturer to MSE with RS5Ts. 65 has kept its RS5T all the way through the rebuild, even to present date with the RS5T. I was a little surprised that it made it through the rebuild. I kind of thought they would put a K5L on it, or K5LA, but I was wrong. I think a train horn, it just has to be a certain loudness. I think it's 95 to 110 decibels, but don't quote me on that because I don't know that for sure. I think I just read that somewhere. 66 has kept its RS5T up until about 10 years ago, when something went wrong with it and they put a Buell B5, Buell, B as in blue, 5. It has a one-of-a-kind horn. It closely resembles an old cast P5, but it has a unique horn sound. And here's a horn sample from 66. So it kept that horn through the rebuild. It came back with that horn on it. It looked like it had been reconfigured on the little bells and all that had been reconfigured on it. But of course, when it came back, it was trailing when it first ran because it didn't have any water or anything in there. So I didn't get any sample of the horn. It turns out something was wrong with the horn, but they left it on there and it led its very first train with the horn one last time. This horn didn't sound that good. I mean, you could tell it was the same horn, but it sounded severely fouled. And I got that train with it running, and the maintenance guy at MSE said that he was going to put a Nathan 5 chime on it, which I was assuming that was probably going to be a K5LA. I was very disappointed because, that's just a standard horn no one cares about. But turns out he ended up putting another Leslie RS5T on it, and I was so happy when he did that he did not put... I was disappointed that we lost a good horn, but I was at least glad that we didn't get a bad horn put on it. Quote, bad for, a K5LA or something. They're not bad horns, but you know what I mean. They're not as exciting as an RS5T. So, anyway, I'm glad we have a good horn on it. Anyway, I'm going to put so when MSE first came back, after they dropped it off at the shops for a couple of weeks, or about a week, and they put a radio on it. They did all the little stuff that needed to be done before it could, be on the road for work. And I got it leading its first train with that horn, and I'm going to play those right now. right, so that was it with its original horn still on it. But it turns out 2 days after that video was taken right there, which was about a week ago when I took that video, they changed the horn to a RS5T, which was fun. So when it went south the next day, it was trailing second, and I got it leading back north. It had it had 3 units on it. So little side tangent here, because I love going on side tangents in case you haven't noticed. MSC serves a Chevron plant down in Pascagoula, Mississippi. We get about over 100 cars a week out of there, loaded tank cars out of there a week. And MSC, they had MSC trains usually vary from about 5 to 10 to about 30 or 40 cars, 40 on a good day. This one had 60, I'll round up to about 60. It was about 60, maybe 50 or 60. So in other words, it had 1 buffer car and a bunch of loaded tank cars. 2 MSC units could have pulled it just fine, but they decided to put a third one on there, 68, just to be safe. So anyway, so now here are those clips with the RS5T. I personally think it's a beautiful RS5T. Let me know in the description if you think it's a good horn, if you liked its original horn better, or if you think a K5LA would have sounded better on it. I personally would have died if they put a K5LA on it, not really, but I think it's a beautiful horn, and I like it a lot. So yeah, alright, well, let's play those clips. Alright, this is good. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it's been like a month since I posted. I've just been doing a lot of different stuff. Stay safe with this coronavirus thing going on. This is very serious. Don't be getting sick out there. Social distancing, all that. You know what to do. There's enough people talking about it. So yeah, alright, well, subscribe to my channel. Check out my friends' channels in the description as well. I'll put their links to there. Check out my Instagram if you have Instagram. I think it's pretty cool. I post all my good pictures. I take videos, but also have a DSLR camera, so I take still shots as well. That's probably actually my most favorite part of the hobby is the still shots, but video is a really fun thing on YouTube that comes along with it, and I really enjoy making these videos. So yeah, anyway, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, happy rail fanning.